Hey guys, Coaching for the Soul, Thursday at 3's begun. What's up, everybody? If you're watching this live, what's up? If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, and comment. Please, 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 please. It's a kind of a chilly day in Detroit today. You can see I got the sweatshirt back on because it's 50 degrees outside and going to be yucky snowy this afternoon, or it was snowy in the Northwest this morning. So snow's back and it's the end of May or the end of April. So that's kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, if you're, yeah, it's an interesting time. Interesting time. Not sure what we're going to talk about today, but we'll see. I'm going to do some channeling, I think, or just, I've been channeling for the past 2 days anyway. Hey, Susan, how's it going? A lot of stuff going on, a lot of changes, a lot of everything. So we'll see what goes on. Yeah, we'll see what goes on. Daisy's outside. Hopefully she stays outside. So, yeah, I'm sure she won't. When she hears me talking, she'll say, who is he talking to? Hey, Sherry, what's going on? You like it cold?
Sorry, I don't understand.
I don't either. Goodbye. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see who pops on. And yeah, we've got the full moon tomorrow in Scorpio. It's full tonight, okay? But here it's it's kind of partly cloudy, but it's supposed to get cloudier. So we may not see it, unfortunately, but we're all feeling it. I know that. It's a good thing. People are emotional. That's what Scorpio's about, right? And if it's your moon sign, you're really getting affected by it. So it'll pass. It'll pass. The next one is at the end of the month on the 31st of May, and it is in Sagittarius. So that'll be an interesting thing right there. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. Hey, Robin, what's going on? How you feeling? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I know we're going to talk politics stuff because we have to, because it's getting dire. So we'll repeat some things, maybe add some things in. Hey, Alexis. And I'll do that. Astrology is kind of quiet right at the moment. There's Pluto's getting ready to go retrograde in Aquarius, unfortunately, my rising sign. So, yeah, we'll see how that works. But it's been pretty good. I mean, I have to say, it's been pretty good. So there's not a Mercury retrograde or anything coming, so it'll be pretty good. But for the past month and a half, I think it is, maybe it's the last 6 weeks or so, there's been no planets that are retrograde bonus. So it's been kind of an energy of, hey, Kathy, kind of an energy of, on one point, letting it get done, wanting to get things done, and the other side, not wanting to do anything. So, yeah. People have been having lots of dreams. For myself, I had a pretty cool energy shift this morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it's 5 o'clock. Went to the bathroom, like, I don't know what time it was, and got back in bed, felt fine. And about 5 o'clock, Daisy came in and jumped on the bed, and she was wanting to snuggle, I guess. And it was interesting because at that point in time, it was maybe 4:15, whatever, I just felt this energy escape, and I felt like, oh my God, I just got hit by a bus. And I laid down in bed and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. But the last 2 days have been really intense energy. I mean, really intense energy for me. And so that was kind of interesting because I barely could get out of bed this morning, but you know who had to go outside. So it kind of made me get up and do something, like go outside. So that's happening for everybody, right? Is that there's intensity and then there's not. Hey, Shannon, there is us wanting intensity and it not coming. But when we're not paying attention, the intensity comes, and that's the way it's supposed to flow, okay? So that's going to happen more and more to us. So we just have to be prepared for that, right? Just deal with it. I mean, the past 2 days, it was very intense for me. I was very focused and very, very in not even in my head, in my energy, and it felt fantastic. So it was good. It was good. So those things are going to continue. Now, I will say the two full moons in May are going to affect us, with it being Scorpio and Sagittarius. Okay, going from water to fire. So, and then into Earth, which is Capricorn, in June. So that I think it's the middle of June. I think it is. Yeah. So hi, Dorothy. How's it going? You have to give me your address, Dorothy, so I can send you that nativity scene of those hand carves that I've got. Okay. You can text them to me if you want, and I'll send it to you tomorrow. Yeah. So the next 2 months are going to be interesting, yet uncomfortable sometimes. Okay? And that's because we're getting closer and closer and closer to July. Now, I have more information from them, from doing readings today, interestingly enough, about how things are going and things that are happening in Washington, D.C. It's so interesting how the puzzle is coming together, okay? How the puzzle is coming together and how things are going to happen. Again, make sure that your freezer's stocked. Make sure that your pantry's stocked, if you can. Make sure you got some cash in the house, okay? If you can, all right? Just keep it stashed, keep it full, all right? Because we have become one of the probably in the top 2, maybe 3, exporting nations of oil in the world. That's why the price of gas is so high. They're doing it on purpose, okay? To crash the economy, all right? Chimes. No, those chimes don't ring unless it's confirmation, all right? So, and Spirit has told us this months ago, right? That the whole thing is to crash the economy because it is easier to become a dictatorship when people are frantic. And people are getting frantic, okay? In Detroit, it went up to $4.99 today. Yesterday it was $4.79. Some places it was $4.39. But in some places it's $5 a gallon where I live in North Detroit, basically. I'm 8 miles from Detroit, right? So from the city limit. So that's number 1, okay? Number 2 is the Fed chair left today, or is leaving. I think today's his last day. His replacement is how can I put this without it being flagged? He is the type of person that is going to give the king anything he wants. And so, again, to help crash the economy. And that is to make money basically free. Remembering that in the past 3 months, the Federal Reserve has given banks on Wall Street almost $1.5 trillion to keep those banks open. It's happening. If we don't have oil to power electricity, meaning that can be diesel, that can be gasoline, that can be any type of thing that is going to keep the lights on, keep your water running, right? Because the pumps that pump the water to us are electric. Okay, so it's all starting to come together that it is all coming together to happen very soon. Okay, and that's why July is so big. All right, so have bottled water in your house as much as you can possibly get. Okay, because if this retail store doesn't have a generator, you can't buy food. Most of them do not. I know here, most of them do not. They just close, expecting to open the next day or the next day or the next day. But all the frozen foods will be gone. Okay? You're going to see prices rise again because diesel is $6.50 a gallon right now. It's all to cripple the economy and to put the country into depression. And they believe in taking it over. Okay, we know different. Now, when we did this broadcast months ago, and Spirit talked about there's a man who was not born, it's Pope Leo, okay? And then there's a female who pops up, who helps, okay? As a military coup happens, all right? It's on track for July. It's on track for July. Martial law for at least 6 months, maybe less, if we're lucky. In reinstalling a president who's been president before with a brand new cabinet. Lots and lots and lots of, because the cabinet will all be removed, okay? That is showing signs of actually going to happen by July, okay? The corruption is deep, extremely deep. They keep telling me it's worse than we think, okay? That once, and NATO will bail out the United States. The NATO countries will bail out the United States because we're basically bankrupt. As the military takes over the country, as reinstall the a new cabinet and a former president into place, and people will, in the Congress, will commit suicide because they're part of the corruption, okay? So it's coming. It's 2 months away, if not a month away. So we really got to take it serious, guys, because it's going to happen. Hey, Julie, what's going on? It's going to happen. We cannot continue down this spiral into not thinking about money. Now, they're claiming we're going to get refund checks. I can guarantee you, if we get a refund check, it will be for $1 on tariffs. Okay? The government doesn't have any money. They have no money. So we're going further and further and further into trillion-dollar debt. If one of the countries that holds our debt, China and Japan, NATO, sells those or calls in the debt, we have nothing to worry about when it comes to the military because we won't have any oil or anything to run the military. Okay? As the world falls down into recession in Europe, depression in the United States. And that's when they believe they're going to be able to raise the country in dictatorship. Okay? Spirit has told me, and I think I've told you guys this before, Putin wants Europe. Orange wants North and South America and the islands. Okay? And the other mongrel wants the Middle East. And China's left alone. Okay? They're not part of it, like we knew before. All of the dictators will be gone by 2030 or 2032. Viktor Orban just lost. We talked about it last week. Okay? So there's 2 down. There's more to go. But this is the way that they're planning on tumbling the world and taking it over. Just like they thought they would do after World War II. After they defeated them. They carved up Europe between the United States and Russia. Russia was going to get theirs, right, when they were the Soviet Union. Okay? This is the same type of energy that's going on now, only it's more intense because it's all collaborated. It's already planned, it's already been put in place. Okay? So for us as Americans, we have to make sure that check your voter registration. Okay? I don't think there's going to be a vote in the fall. I believe we'll be under martial law or something where it's not going to happen. They're going to call it off and then not do it until 28. Okay? I don't believe that will be the administration. I believe that will be the military or the former new president, who Spirit says he's the only one who's not corrupt. Okay? So we've talked about this before. I'm just giving you that, again, reminding you that it's serious. It's serious. It's not playing. It isn't something that Bill said that, blah, 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 blah. It's serious. So what Spirit has talked about for the last year and a half is really coming true. And we can see it plain as day. Okay? So we want to just make sure that we're prepared. Because I would hate to have anybody that watches this program and their families to not get what they have to do. If they can afford it, this is the thing. Things are so expensive that there's not a lot of money extra to put away unless you have money, right? A lot of us don't. We don't. And so it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. But if you can do stuff now, hoard your stuff, toilet paper, paper towel, water. You can't do milk because milk's going to spoil, right? So unless you get plant-based milk, which doesn't expire, doesn't go bad, right? I have done some of that, that just I'll do more of it as I can, right? But Spirit says this is not an alarm. This is not like a big, huge thing that we should be afraid, because we shouldn't be afraid. Hi, Beth. It's about making sure that we have. On the other side of that, the blessing is our guides have us. Okay? Are we going to be disenfranchised? Yes. Yes. Oh, so Dorothy says Dollar Tree has shelf-stable milk. Didn't know that. Yeah, see? So, again, there's all those types of things that, again, it's a good thing that we've got that. Get it now, because there's going to be a run on it when things really start to tumble even worse than it is now. Okay? So, all of the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. And so, it's not a warning, it's an alarm. Okay? It's an alarm that we have to make sure that we have ours, because the masses are not going to, and is going to be chaotic. It's going to be crazy, chimes. It's going to be chaotic, right? As people realize that the bank's not open because the Fed didn't open. Your credit card doesn't work. Your debit card doesn't work because things don't work. There's no electricity, right? Hey, Beth, or hey, Barb. And so it's all about making sure that you are good with stuff, and that you, So Rusty says, cans of coconut milk is also good for you, and it lasts what people think. Yeah, that's true. Coconut milk is true. Coconut water also, okay? That works too. Just making sure that you, and it would be great if somebody could like make a list and post it on their Facebook page. I'm not that gifted to do that because, if somebody else could do that, that'd be fantastic. We could all share it to get us ready. Okay, to get us ready. So that's that. The ETs are definitely working to our advantage. All right. I can tell you that. I've talked to people in the last week who have had contact with them, bonus, in their dreams, bonus. And they were first time it's ever happened, or maybe second time it's ever happened, but they're definitely active, all right? The power that they have is monumental, Spirit says, monumental, and absolutely genuine, and will be healing in the future, okay? More and more things are showing that how connected we are to the ETs, right? That all the things that we've been told, all the things that we've heard from people like myself and others, is that we're all connected, that they put us here for a reason, and it's true. Okay, this wouldn't be happening for the first time in our country's history of 250 years, right? If it wasn't monumental, and it's going to be our first military coup and replacement in the country's history. Okay, so the other thing that comes to mind is impeachment by Howard Johnson after President Lincoln got shot. They impeached him and he was gone. That's the only time of removal. Richard Nixon left on his own, right? They were going to do all these things, but he left on his own. And President Ford came into power, right? So, hey, Lacey. So this is the first military anything that's happening, and because they're there in place, Spirit says, because they are going to save the country and the world from. It's interesting. Hang on. Spirit is giving me this thing in my freaking heart. It's just like the Allies in World War II saving the world from the Nazis. Okay, is this energy of combination of the military, of them having conversations in the skiff without Trump knowing. Yeah, that's happening too, about the Iranian war. Okay, which was done on purpose to raise the price of oil so people would have to pay more, number one, on one side, and companies like ExxonMobil and the rest would absolutely make millions and millions of dollars extra. Okay, it's all about the cash cow and raping that cash cow. Okay, so taking everything that they possibly can, because it's like pigs at a trough, Spirit says. It's just like what happened, Spirit says, in 1929, in October of 1929. Okay, only worse, more desperate, because we're used to having. Okay, so and I'm kind of a American and world history thing. So yeah, it's one of my favorite things in the world to have those things. I know, I get it. There you go. Okay, so we did that. Okay. Okay. All right, hang on, guys. I think we're gonna chant. Okay, there's something right there. It's definitely right there in my head. Making me sleepy. Kind of weird. Okay. Okay, we're gonna channel because I can't keep my eyes open. So, oh, must be what it is. Okay. Yeah, there's a person right there. I don't know who that is. And get again. Yep. Whoa. Okay. I don't know. It's them, but there's a being right there that keeps that's like this tall. Now my nose is all plugged out, which is kind of weird. So that's kind of weird. And my head's starting to hurt. I'm having a headache right there. Interesting. Okay. All right. There's no reason for people to worry about the place the planet is going. Simply because we have to believe and trust that it's being taken care of. That we are the fortunate ones who have evolved and ascended into energy that the others have not. They will be the ones that are in the chaos. They're the ones that will be affected, but also being triggered into some type of conflict within the country. And it is a fight for food. It is a fight for other things. Them not knowing because everything that they've been trained to do has been forgotten. Some will remember quite quickly. They will kick into a space of their history of knowing what to do, of sustaining life, of understanding exactly what's going on, and others will not, and they will freak out. Some people's families will freak out because they are not attuned to what is actually happening on the planet, but especially in the United States. The door just opened. Hang on. You want in? Whatever it was opened up the door, right? And it's gone. So that's kind of weird. And it wasn't the dog because that was securely shut. Hey, Lene, what's up? How are you? Okay, so let's go back to this because yeah. Okay, so, okay, get it back. Oh man, my neck is so stiff right now. Wow. Okay. Okay, so something about, well, I can just say this because this has happened to me since I was a child. And I can open my eyes for this, okay? Just for the story, all right? So, ever since I was a child and having this voice in my head telling me about this time right here, which I thought it was something worse. I thought it was the apocalypse, but it's not. It's actually this now where the country is going to free fall. And it's all about having water filters, not for your sink, but because you're not going to have any water, but for the water that you find. Spirit brought me this the other day, interestingly enough, that there are metal straws and other things that have filters in them up to 200 uses, okay? Because you're not gonna have any water. You gotta have water. To keep you from getting sick and your friends from getting sick, hygiene will be an issue because there will be no showers or baths, things like that, right? So that's been kind of tough. So Spirit was showing me since I was a child that I needed to get water filters. And I've told this story before in this part of it. I'm going to Ohio for my birthday to see my friends in Toledo. And I'm going down the highway, and you know those ponds, those little lakes that are by the bridges, because they took all the dirt out to build the bridge, right? So the hole's filled with water, and it's wintertime, it's January, right? And so I'm going to Toledo down the highway, and Spirit says, "Have you got the water filters yet?" I'm like, "No." As we're going by a lake that's by the bridge, and I said, "Well, no, I don't think I need them yet." He goes, "You gotta buy the filters, Bill. People are going to need the filters." I'm like, okay, you're not going to have any water to drink if you don't have the filter because the water is dirty. I'm like, okay, that was 2005, 2006, okay? And I thought, okay, that's fine. Well, they reminded me yesterday or the day before about these straws and these pitchers. It isn't just a simple pure pitcher, whatever the heck they're called, right? Or things you put on your... No, these are things that block out all of the disease, all the parasites, all that type of stuff. Have I looked into it? No, not yet. Am I going to today? I'm going to today. Because just being the dog, right? If I have to purify water, if I'm here, right? I'll purify water that I'm here. On Maui, it's going to be a little bit harder. But you can get the rainwater because it's going to rain, right? Or whatever. Rainwater here too. But the government will act as fast as they can. The military will act as fast as they can to get everything up and running as fast as they can, which could be months. Okay? So I want to tell you that story about the filters and about the straws because of my continual remembrance of Spirit telling me you've got to get filters for the water. Because when it's time, you're going to need them. People are going to need them. And you have to give them to them, Bill, because they're going to need them. I'm like, okay, I was thinking, well, not right now, but I guess it's right now. Okay? So there's that more thing that we have to add on to our list of things we have to have. All right? So, okay, we're going to go back to channel. Yes. Okay. They keep showing me boom, boom, boom. They keep showing me ETs with interesting. ETs with a mask on, so you can't tell who they are. So we don't know who they are, which race they are, whatever. But the connection is to us, to all of us, and not warning us, but trying to comfort us into understanding that those of you that believe that this is a transformation similar to your own, not to be fearful. Okay, that everybody's going to be just fine. It's going to be a change of lifestyle, yes, they say, but you're coded for it. That's new information. You're coded for it. So, okay, meaning that something about when it's activated, you will know. When it's activated, you will know. All this knowledge will come to you. All of the okay, so they show me the meals that people would buy. They're going to be in their bunker, stuff like that. That's not what this is about at all. Okay, it's not like this at all. Will there be military on the streets? Possible. Are the bombings going to happen like we've talked about for 2 years along the coast? Yes, I can guarantee you that. Okay, they say we can guarantee that it may be sporadic or it might be all at one time. Once the military takes over, all of the different energies from survival, Mad Max, they say, are going to be electrified, be activated. Okay, will that mean Mad Max storyline? No, it will not be that. That there's a bunch of rebels. That you'll have to protect yourself and things like that. In certain areas, Spirit says, if you're in the middle of nowhere, yes, you may have to, because others around you do not have, because you prepared and they did not. Okay, some will move to higher ground. Some will move to safer ground. Okay, some will choose to stay and fight, but not what they're expecting. Everyone will know what to do when they are activated. He says their circle is activated, and he goes like this: their circle is activated. I'm assuming that's your crown chakra. Okay. Buy the supplies that you need now. Get the supplies that you need now if you can. Okay. A lot of you will help other people. A lot of you will help other people that are less fortunate or that are not part of this collection and could not plan. It's all been choreographed before. It's all been choreographed before. Once it actually gets started. Once it actually gets started in the fact of being activated and all the pieces coming together, which in your time may take longer than you would think. Especially in our country, because it's never happened before. But as Bill says, as a reminder, if there is no oil, there is that means there's no natural gas. That means that there is nothing to push the water. He calls them a combine. The pumps that pump the water to us in Detroit. It's out of Lake Huron, in the middle of Lake Huron, and it goes to the Detroit Water Department downtown, and then it comes to us in the suburbs. Those pumps cannot work if there is no power. They're all electric-borne power. They're ready with alternatives, but that will take time. And the shock and awe of what's actually happening will be confusing. Okay. Watch who and what you listen to, or watch, because there will be total convicting, if that word is spirit. I'm just going to say counteractive views, and it will not be chimes. It will not be one message. It will be conflicting messages. Because there is a side that wants this to happen and wants it to be devastating, for people to be in chaos and in fear, because then when they claim to be the Messiah, they believe them. They're not. They're not. This is when the true reckoning happens. This is when the true reckoning happens, where the ones that believe the information will slowly understand that what they're selling is not true. But this, got it. As the military takes over and removes who they need to remove, the other side will claim to be the Messiah. And if you stick with us, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, when all of the representation has been decimated. But those people are going to rise to the top, right? Who are, okay. God, sometimes I wish I didn't know all this stuff. Because they're showing me things, right? When President Reagan got shot by John Hinckley, who was in love with Jodie Foster, right? And he was in the hospital, he was in surgery, and the Secretary of State, what was his name, Haig, claimed he was in charge here in Washington and everything is fine, and the Vice President, which was George H.W. Bush, claimed the same thing. People didn't know, but the Secretary of State claimed that he was in charge of, I'm here in Washington, blah, 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 right? And it's all under control, whatever. We're safe, or whatever he said. They're showing me that. Kind of, because I'm old, because I pay attention to history and things, right? But they will claim this. People will rise up on the other side after the others are removed and taken to be the savior, to be the ones that are going to save us from the military coup and all these other factions that are going to try to tear the country apart. Because there are factions in the country, Spirit says. You can see them in demonstrations around the country where they want anarchy, they want dictatorship, they want all these different things, a small portion of them. And most will not follow that at all. But many will follow that side that claims to be the risen, the savior, you're safe with us, where others will not be. And they'll be like, no, not going to happen. It will fracture families. It will fracture families. And understand and prepare for that. Understand and prepare for that. That families will be fractured. They'll come together eventually, but they will be fractured. Energy across the world is going to shift. It will be a time when you will see military takeovers of different things and places, which is what they're planning on doing because of the chaos in America, because America is busy at the time. More military actions across the globe, especially in the Middle East. Looking for them to think they can take over these, which is not true. No country in the world will use nuclear bombs at all. It will not happen. And that is a relationship and a contract with us, meaning the ETs. Food may be, okay. Food may be scarce in the shops, but not if you grow it. if you have land, plant. If you have land, plant. Okay? Now, yes. Okay. As Bill has talked about before, in the Middle East, the farmers in America need fertilizer. It comes out of the Middle East to America on massive ships that are stuck in the straits. If the farmers in America do not have that fertilizer, they cannot plant anything. It will not grow. Meaning that the country will be without. Other countries will be without. Another devastating act by what they did, and they don't care. As the core of the world, as the core of the earth expands, because it is, the energy of the planet will be one of expansion, one of everybody's okay. For the people that have ascended, for the people who have not ascended, they will feel fear. Volcanoes will rise. People will claim it's the second coming or whatever BS those people talk about. It's not. It is not. And they will do that to try to fill the churches. Money. Everything right now is driven by money. Pigs at the trough, like I talked about before. Believing that they own it, believing that it's theirs, that they're entitled to it. As the country goes further and further down into despair until it's saved by the military. Interesting. Okay, because I'm not getting anything else. I'm trying to pull them back, and they're not giving me anything else. It's blank. Okay. Okay. Hey Vincent, what's up? Okay. I don't really know what I said. I can't go back and talk about it. The fertilizer thing is true. Okay, is that this is what happens when we're looking for cheap. Okay, and because everything's got to be cheap, because they got to feed the masses, they claim, right? And so when it comes to them that far away, it's already going to be May 1st, and most farmers haven't planted yet because they don't have the fertilizer to do it with. So buy your stuff now. Buy lots of pasta. You know, start making your bread. You know, it's better for us anyway. But just those types of things. The nice thing, Spirit is okay. So now Spirit is talking instead of them. The blessing is the farmers around us, because again, we're in Macomb County in north of Detroit. Lots of farms just north of us, right? You can get your eggs, you can get your dairy products, right? But they're going to need to have enough food for the cows and the chickens and things like that. Dorothy, you mean what should we buy? You mean in food or in can you just give me more information, because I'm not really sure what you mean. Okay. And Lenae's, is July 4th a significant day? Well, it is for them, but it won't be for us, because we will be in, we'll either be in WTF, meaning the military coups happened in May or in June, or it's in the process of happening in food. Okay. What Spirit gives me right now, Lenae, is that that it will all happen the week of or the week after, because of the significance of the day, that they believe they can get away with more things. Okay, that's where the next 2 months are very important, because as we continue to slide, and as they try to play with the Federal Reserve, which is just printing money. I mean, we've done that for a while, but we've had people to buy our debt because we're not responsible enough to tax the rich, to tax the ultra wealthy. Okay, and this has been put into place in 1700s when the country was founded by old white men, white rich men. Okay, that it is to use the masses to make us money. We didn't have the masses to cook to pick the crops, so they went to Africa and brought in black folks. That's what they did, right? They just owned them. That's why they did what they did. Is to make the farmers rich, to have products to sell to England, and to sell to the rest of the world, and to pick the crops, because there wasn't enough humans to do it, white humans, I should say, to do it. So they enslaved others to do it. That's the rich, white privilege hypocrisy. Okay? So as that ends, because it's going to, okay, eventually, it's going to end probably by the end of the year, that there's no place for those people to go. And if the Fed's not open, they can't get their money. So again, do they have it stored other places? Of course they do. The blessing is, as the United States goes that way, the world goes that way, meaning that it's going to be a domino effect. And so, is July significant? Yes, there's something astrological that happens that month, and I don't remember what it is. My head's kind of foggy. But I probably will look into it after we're done, maybe tonight, and find out exactly what's going on in the month of July, astrologically, let's say. Okay? But it's definitely, again, we're on that trajectory, and hoard what you can afford. Okay? Because they've already tried to take away the protection from the credit unions on protecting your deposits, because they want those too, and now they're trying to get the FDIC canceled from the Great Depression, from Franklin Roosevelt. Hey, Kathleen. So because they want your money, they don't want to have to give anybody in it, because they want the country to be in shambles. Okay, again, that comes from them, right? Do I believe it? Of course I do, because they gave it to me, right? That's how connected we are. And others will want not to believe it, because we've gotten to a place of having for the last 100, let's say the last 75 freaking years after World War II. Okay, where we just got bigger and more stuff, and we're available for stuff, and available to go to the grocery store and buy the stuff and things like that. And we saw in the pandemic, in that shift of energy, right? That shelves were bare, right? Because the system was off whack, it was off centered, off balanced, and it took time to come back online, right? And after Joe Biden got elected, it was still in the process of trying to come back, because the pandemic lasted until 2022. Someplace at the end of 2021. So, because we shut down in March of 2020, and it went a full year and a half. So, all those staples and things that didn't get fully up to production again, right? There wasn't things coming from Europe. There wasn't crops coming from South America and things like that. Like there again is now. Okay, so it's gonna be the same thing, only it's going to be probably somewhat worse. Okay, so Sherry says, any more about the Pope? Okay, so as the Pope says, He's not afraid of the Trump administration. He's not afraid of Trump. I mean, he's God. I mean, and he is from Chicago. So it's like, you know what? And I totally understand when he's given mass at 5 years old, he's divinely guided. I mean, God right there, you know. Was he born human? Yes. But was he born in his sense of who he actually is? No. That's what Spirit has told me just in chilling out on my couch with my iPad, you know, just out of the blue, you know, because I think about that stuff and that makes total sense. That the soul that's in that body was not born. The human was born, but the soul came with the body, but it wasn't born as a human. It was born as a spirit, as a savior, let's say. Okay? And so I don't know who the woman is yet. It'll be interesting to find out. But with the way that they go back and forth, and again, the Pope controls how many Catholics across the world? Millions. Millions and millions and millions. Okay? And so, and I will tell you that for me, like Pope John Paul, but Pope Francis for sure, connected to this, connected to the universe, connected to the divine, not in a religious way, but in a spiritual and energy way, right? And so he has divine energy, which all of us know that, right? And so as more and more people not go towards religion, but go towards what they feel in their heart, that right there is a man that our soul understands and connects to. Not as the Pope, but as a person of the divine, a divine energy, okay? And that's going to help a lot of people to know it. Okay, so Spirit has said this, to follow, but also be activated into service for themselves and others. Okay? He has not shown that yet, Spirit says. But he is a God of gods. At this time to save the world through the United States. Not in a Christian way. This is not a Christian conversation. This is a spiritual conversation that people are going to hear him or see him out of the blue, right? Because they're paying attention now all of a sudden because of what's going on, right? And people will say, well, that's because he's God and blah, blah, blah. And people will start to go back to church, let's say. But then they get into church and go, okay, they're not saying, that doesn't make sense to me. Because they're on the precipice of their spiritual ascension. Okay? So us understanding that he is the person with this woman, like Spirit has said, who's going to save the country. Who's going to save the country. Yeah. See? That's one thing. That little speech thing statement that just came up is they just channeled that. So it's going to be miraculous in that respect. How people are triggered into ascension. Okay? Is fear still there? Yes. But they've already been downloaded. Most of them have already been downloaded. And so they don't know it that they have, but they have. And they'll be at the forefront of their transformation. Spirit also says that because of the Pope, people will not have to go through their past chapters of their lives to ascend. I've never said it before in my life. Because Spirit is showing me almost all their baggage just falling off their backs. Just the energy just coming out of their backs, coming out of their chest and their legs and just all parts of their body is just, there is steam or something coming out of them that we can't see, but Spirit says in ultraviolet light you can. Interesting. Chimes. Okay? So it's all happening now. So we just have to make sure that we are paying attention to ourselves and how we're being led, and we're asking spirit things, and we're keeping that communication open, and we're becoming more and more into ourselves, and understanding that if you want their help, you have to ask. They're not going to do it for you automatically. They're not. They can't. They can't. The law, the contract for us is we have to ask. So when people ask when things happen that are bad, they usually talk to God, right? Well, that God will be the Pope. And their spiritual energy will enlighten them. They'll believe that it's God, that's Jesus. Usually that's what people think. It's not. And they'll recognize it as things go on, and they feel calmer when others do not. Spirit says that's the difference between the 60% that's ascending automatically and the 40% that's not, and that's when the 20% of the 40% comes to join the 60%. And there's 20% left who is just fighting everything, fighting it and fighting it and fighting it as they are dying and dying and dying. They're believing that the Pope is the religious God. They believe that the people in office who rose to office after the coup are taking care of them because that's the only thing that they can wrap their head around, because they're not supposed to go forward. Not supposed to go forward. Okay? So that's huge. That's huge. That's huge. So as you start to see it more and more on the pages of your Facebook or of your well, it won't be on Facebook because they'll not allow it. Maybe YouTube. Lots of code words and things like that people are using now, like unalive, right? Because anything else, it gets canceled, it gets shoved, it gets canceled and taken off the content off the channel. So there's different things like that. Yeah. Oh, so Dorothy, did Kathy answer your question about what to buy? Because I saw something about Kathy put down basics or staples or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It should be done. Okay. So things should be back to they went flat. Very few people, if any, will be cold this winter. Very few, if any, will be cold this winter. It's already May. We know here in Michigan, it started getting cold at September 15th. And it's cold till, well, again, what day is it? It's the 30th of April, and we're going into an extended cold spell. They had snow in northern Michigan today. And this is crazy. And they're saying it's going to be here the whole month. It's going to be till the 15th. It's going to be cold and rainy and gross. Today we're blessed. We have some sun. Was supposed to be sunny. Was supposed to be cloudy and rainy, like it was yesterday. So the temperature is kind of high. I think it's like 52. But the sun is really warm because it's almost May 1st. Here, I've already planted my pots for the balcony, right? And then maybe I had to cover them with a sheet when it was going to be the last frost or whatever it is. They're saying last frost won't be until sometime in May. That's from my childhood days. Yes. Yeah. So it's going to be a chilly spring. Then it's going to be hot. The thing we have to think about is that if we don't have power, we don't have electricity, no air conditioning, no fans, anything like that, which is bad. It's bad for a lot of people. A lot of people will pass because of it. Again, plan on it being okay, right? Believe it's going to be okay. They've got you. Trust me, they've got you. They've shown me miracles in the last freaking 9 months that blow my freaking mind. And we're all on the trajectory. We just have to believe that it's happening for us. Ask for your money. Ask for your ancient money. Chimes. Spirit, I want Tell them what you want. But then understand, it has to be manifested by them, right? It's not like going to the bank, taking out your $1 million. Not. See? The only good thing about this is there probably won't be a lot of government left or around to have to pay taxes on. So we'll see what happens with that, with the IRS and things like that. But it also opens up the country to foolish things, to foolish things. You have to believe that it's good. They've got you. That is the biggest part of anyone's ascension, is believing the fact that their guides have them. Again, you'll see miracles happen for yourself where money shows up out of the blue to cover something. You're the one house that has electricity, right? Again, food comes in the mail, or there's trucks that go by your house and have all the things that you could possibly need, and they're semis or whatever, right? Taking it to the people and having it exchanged there. Don't know what it's going to look like because we've never done it before. But that is what. Oh, Barb, generators are fine, but you need oil or kerosene or something to run it. And if we don't have oil, you have no power. Generators won't work. Yeah. So that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Making sure that it's crunch time. Spirit is like, it's crunch time. That we have to make sure that we're prepared for what's ahead. And it's interesting that now I understand why we'll be baking bread and things, right? The old-fashioned way. Maybe it's in a cook stove. Cook stove we had one at our house in northern Michigan when I was a kid. It takes wood. Again, the wood is in the cook stove, and the top was metal, right? Cast iron, and my dad would get up. He'd make the pancakes when we were asleep, and he'd wake us up with pancakes and eggs and stuff like that. He cooked it all on the cook stove. But we didn't have a stove. We had a cook stove, So it just took the wood that my dad would cut the trees down in the back and cure them, right, and keeping them dry. And every season we'd go through in the wintertime, sometimes in the summertime. Hey, Tom, about going through the wood. Yeah. So trust me, it's going to be okay for most of us. It's the people that are uninformed. It's the people that are going to be caught off guard and not understand that they can't get money out of their bank, that they can't go to the grocery store because the grocery store is closed because there is no electricity. See? So Sherry says, a lot of preppers websites out there to learn from. That's true. That's true. But don't take all the hype for, the meals are fine, but I would rather cook my own stuff, just with boiling water and a pot and a campfire in my backyard, right? Again, got to get the wood. So it's got to be cured, right? So again, it's all the things like that of having in the central, right, in the center of the cities. It's going to be difficult. Okay, so I'll let you guys go. It's 4:04. Today's been a really busy day. I'm exhausted. I've had some amazing readings today with people that I haven't talked to in like a year, which was pretty awesome. I don't really like to do readings before the show, but this is 2 weeks in a row where they booked before the program and they ran over, so it's kind of cool. So I'm going to post this on YouTube in just about 15 minutes or so. If you could go over there and like the video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And leave a little comment. Bill, hey Bill, whatever. A lot of emojis would be good, whatever. Share when it is on my Facebook page. It's going to be there till tomorrow morning. I'm starting to do that. Share it to your feed. Share it to your feed and see what you get back. Trust me, share it to your feed. You'd be surprised the people that come back to you and say, okay, so what's this guy talking about? Or I know that's Bill, but what's he talking about with this? And you get to be the one who, after they watch it, can answer maybe some of their questions. That's the point. You have to start sharing this stuff, guys, because as we share them, right, more people see them. And that's what it's all about, right? And at least they get some type of notice that things are going to happen, especially with the cash and stocking your house with food. Okay, so readings are still going to be on sale till the end of next month, I think, but I'm not sure. They said to do them again, so I do it. So it's like, right? So I do it. It's all good. If you need any help, you know where to find me. Guys, I'm always around. Don't be afraid you're going to bother me, because that's not the point. Things in my life are going really fast. Really, really, really fast towards Maui. So I'm prepared, I think. But I think it's going to be really, really quick. And every indication is being we're going to be gone by July the 1st. Don't know how again, it's not my job to worry about it, to think about it, because it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I've made peace with that. So still be doing the show till then, even when I get there, because I have some time, maybe a month or so, to do to get myself settled before we do another one of these. I'm not sure. They'll tell me. Join the memberships, guys. If you want to keep in touch and you want to have direct contact with me and you want to be able to ask questions and you want to have an energy that allows you to understand your ascension, join the memberships. It's not that expensive. They're not. You can pay one payment or two payments. And I've done this for people before. You can pay me like $100 a month, right? Until it's paid off, or $50 a month until it's paid off, or whatever, right? I'm okay with that. But I want people to get in there if you feel it's what you need to do. That's the only time I'll probably ever say need, because want is for them. Need is for you. Okay? So, yeah. So I'll see you next Thursday. Coaching for the Soul, Thursdays at 3. See you guys.